Hello, hello, hello. Yes, welcome back to another episode. Yes. We decided that putting episode numbers in the description is, you know what? That don't even matter. The title is what matters. All right, you all. So, yes, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. I want to hope everybody is having a blessed day, blessed week. Oh my goodness, yes, beautiful out here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's let the notifications go on out because we're gonna dive into it, y'all. We are oh man, truth seekers, right? Truth seekers, truth seekers, truth seekers. That's what it's all about. It's like, you know what? God tells us he's gonna tell it, he's gonna show everything that we need to see. That's right. Everything that we need to know, all that we missed, and all of that. All right. You also, when you catch this on the replay, I will always get to your comments and questions and stuff as soon as possible. But yeah, inside the narcissistic abuse matrix, y'all. Okay, we see what's going on, and I want to go ahead and bring this very important point to you all. Thank you, fellow warrior Cram, because you hit the nail on the head with this one. When dealing with narcissistic abusers, all right, when you stop and think about it and pay attention to the guilt tripping, they will always try and guilt trip when there's over something, okay? And then when there's something they're unable to control. And a great example that I have for you all is I made that announcement as we are adhering to Matthew 10:37. Oh, yeah, that's it. Bottom line. We're not, God ain't playing. Right? Matthew 10:37. And that's your reference point. And let the Holy Spirit interpret it for you. But we are adhering strongly to that. We made that announcement. And what did the enemy do? Because he has access, right, to one of the human, in the environment. Had access to him trying to guilt trip me because I'm adhering to that. So that's a big part of it, y'all, because the enemy cannot control salvation. So once we are in obedience to God, and the enemy can see that, of course their demon spirits can see that we are obeying God. They can see it very well. Now the human host, they're crept in unawares. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying y'all gonna hear me say this a lot. The importance of once you are able to keep, all right, that regulation, the emotional regulation, all right, it's the same concept as separating work and personal life when learning how to deal with toxic coworkers. Yes, okay, same concept applies in many areas, especially even in the spiritual awakening. Because once we get over there to the other side of that rainbow and we've got that balance between the spiritual and the physical, that's when we learn we got to keep them separate because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. So the only way to be able to properly discern and understand that verse is by learning how to keep them separated. Because that's the human. Yeah, okay, so we see the physical, but then that's not what we're battling. We're battling their spiritual wickedness in high places, the demon spirit attached to their minds. That's what we're battling. Okay, you all, seriously. All right, so when that sinks in, a lot more things will make sense. A lot more things will become clearer. And you will see a lot more inside the narcissistic matrix than it's like, woo, mind-boggling moment after mind-boggling moment, right? Yeah. So inside that narcissistic abuse matrix, okay, is where they go from being sleepers to becoming test subjects, human test subjects. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, for those of you, hey, we say kudos to those of you who never had to go down the rabbit hole and you already knew about this. Let's go ahead and bring that poll on up in here. All right, for those of you who never had to go down the rabbit hole because you already knew about the world stage and the illusions and all the setups and stuff like that, you already knew that. How about if you wouldn't mind enlightening us? I would love to know, and I'm not the only one who would love to know how you found out without going down the rabbit hole. That I'm intrigued by that because I know you're out there, that you knew about the fakery out there in the world. Somehow, I'd like to know how you discovered it, and so that others, spiritual warriors for Christ, can learn as well, because it'd be very intriguing to learn. I know there's other ways to learn about these truths. God does it in whatever way we're reachable. We know that. So let's drop those in the comments below to let us know. How did you know without going down the rabbit hole? Because seriously, I don't know that I would know if I hadn't gone down the rabbit hole. So I think that's the reason why God leads some of us down there. Like God takes some of us down that rabbit hole because we may not have been reachable any other way. You see, so that's the important point right there to remember how God reaches us. He reaches us how we're reachable. That's it, bottom line. And so I just want everybody to know that you're not alone. No, we see what's going on. And we often wonder, okay, so who is it underneath that mask today playing that role? Yeah, all right. We know all about that. And that's not a secret. It's out there. Silicone mask, things like that they use. And, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. See, a lot of people don't. I think it's hilarious. This is cognitive dissonance in action, y'all. Yes, it's all about truth seekers. Okay? Cognitive dissonance in action, right? Okay, where you sleepers, right? They believe that one matrix is real. But yet they know that like movies and other things are made up fantasies, right? Oh, they'll know that. But they'll realize that, well, so is that. Like, so is that they're watching. They believe it's the truth, that they're trauma bonded to it. And they believe that that's the truth. It's like, wow, okay. And it's nothing new under the sun, right? So many of us, we're not even turning that stuff on, because we know now what it is. And it's like, okay, because it is nothing new. And we got some fellow warriors who nail it every single time when somebody will ask them if they actually watch the particular Matrix. And it's like, one in particular, I know had not done so in over 10 years. Okay, many of us longer. And then some of us recent, like a few years now, a couple of years now, stuff like that, since we become aware, like in that heightened awareness. So we know what's up. We're not watching it because it is the same old. So I had a fellow warrior who hasn't watched it in 10 years or more and actually said, yeah, I can tell you what's going on. There's probably this going on somewhere, this going on somewhere, this is happening here, this, and same old. And I was like, yep, you just hit the nail. You just hit every headline. Like it's the same stuff over and over and over again. It's awful fear mongering too, because we know now that, oh yeah, perfect love casts out all fear. So what do we do? How do we deal with that, right? How do we deal with it? All the stupidity inside the narcissistic abuse matrix. We learn to laugh. Okay, we find the humor in it. Find the humor in it, however it is you got to, keep it clean, y'all. Keep it clean. Seriously. God does have a sense of humor. It's called an alchemist sense of humor. It's clean, logical, okay? Because we're seeing the cognitive dissonance in action. Every day is cognitive dissonance day, right? It sure is inside the narcissistic abuse matrix. And so we're seeing it. It's like they don't even realize. It's like, oh, okay, so that particular thing or that particular whatever is fantasy and it's made up. And I remember there's a lot of us who actually were told growing up that that what we saw in movies and television shows was all made up in fantasy. Okay, a lot of us were told that. We're like, okay, so we knew. Right? It's all fantasy made up just for entertainment, right? Nothing wrong with that. Okay, y'all, seriously. It's all about being mindful what you consume. Okay, so when I refer to turning off television, I'm mainly referring to a particular matrix. And y'all know it starts with the letter N. We don't watch that stuff. Okay, because it is the very narcissistic abuse on the societal level we're talking about here. Because all of that stuff, smear campaigns, slander, gossip, yeah, okay, seriously. Y'all, and we learned this too. We, out here, we are the media. Okay, y'all, seriously. We are. Once that sinks in, oh, we co-create our reality and God's reality. Oh, see, all ties in. So we realize that, that right there is all about, yes, mind control. Yep. Getting these sleepers to obey. And not ask questions. That's another reason why narcissistic abusers get irritated when we ask them questions, y'all. That's another reason, big reason right there, why they get so easily annoyed and irritated when we ask them questions, because they're conditioned to obey and never ask questions. Let that sink in. All right. Yep. Because they're listening to, they're being told what to eat, what to wear. Yes. Okay. They're basically being told what game to play. Because it really is nothing but games going on. Because after all, that's all the enemy has is head games. That's it, right? That's all he's got is head games. So we learned that, you know what? It's all right. Yeah, I got it. Okay. So we're not playing. Okay, we're not playing anymore. That's it. Bottom line. We learned to stop playing the game of narcissism. All right, that's the truth right there. Harsh truth for some people, but hey, somebody's got to say it. Somebody's got to speak the truth. Okay, somebody's got to. And I'm not the only one. There's many of us out here who know what's really going on the world stage. And so that's why I said before, y'all, seriously, we're not going to be able, listen, if we see that they are comfortably asleep in their comfort zone, we have to leave them there. We learned this the hard way, that if they're meant to wake up, God will do it. If they are meant to wake up, God will take care of it. Because there's a lot of people that are in that industry who are also sleeping. Oh, yeah, I had this confirmed by a fellow chosen one, because that was a question I had for quite some time. I was like, so how many in the industry, in the entertainment industry actually are awake? And he told me, he said that you'd be surprised. Not many. There's probably more than we would think, but there's a lot more who are still sleeping in that industry as well. They don't realize that they are part of the world stage. They don't realize it. So it's like, oh, okay. So it goes into the other question I've had about these narc talking heads. I'm like, how many of them know? Like, how many of them? They got, some of them got to know. You know what I'm saying? Some of them got to know, and they do. Because some of them, I remember asking our fellow chosen one, I was like, okay, so do those quote unquote so-called, I guess you can, what are they called? Oh yeah, the narrators, if you will, do they even watch that stuff? And he said, no, they don't, because they know what's up. There you go. Because they know it's all made up. They know it's fake. They know they're just being told to do a job. Here's your script. This is the story that you need to develop, whatever. All right, that's the story they're being told to deliver. That's right. They're obeying. There you go. The enemy and his lies. Right? They're obeying the fallen world. They're obeying in the narcissistic matrix. That's what it's all about. The illusion of power and control. No wonder these narcissistic abusers are always trying to, get a handle on it. They're always trying to get that illusion of power and control. You know what I'm saying? That's why. That's where they get it from. From the narcissistic abuse on the societal level. Not just from their own upbringing, because they think it's normal. They've been so perfectly programmed and conditioned to believe those lies, and that this is your reality. And that's just how it is. This is how you're supposed to live your life. It never sat right with me and many other fellow chosen ones, spiritual warriors for Christ. None of that ever sat right. And I'll tell you that for those of us who actually got the experience of a particular area in the workforce, that it's like, okay, yeah, I'll go for the experience. I've never had that kind of a job before, so let's go check it out. Right? So I get there and realize that, ew, no, well, not for me. Didn't sit right. I was like, nah, that's not for me. And now I understand why. Right? Because now, not meant, didn't sit right with me. And so there's a lot of y'all had that similar thing happen for you too. Now, for some of you, you are in your calling, and that's fine. All right, seriously, for those of you who are, you're working a job that you love. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of your calling. God called you to do that. It comes with ease, right? So, yes, now you're starting to notice toxic coworkers. Don't let them Nope, don't let them trick you into quitting, because if that's your calling, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So that's why we have that course, How to Deal with Toxic Coworkers, available at CHA Academy now. And you'll find those links in the video description. Now, during the live, you won't see it, but after on the replay, you'll see it in the description once I get back and I'm able to get that updated. All right, you all. Yeah, I mean, because for most of you all who are following us on the other network on Tuesdays around 2:30, eventually you'll figure out that we've transitioned. Now we're over here on the YouTube channel, Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance with CHA's Truth Seeker podcast. All right, on Tuesdays around 2:30, we just moved the podcast and brought it over here. When, yes, glory be to God, YouTube made that feature available for us in our studios. Okay, it's fantastic. All right, so that's what we decided to do, to bring it over here so you all can still get the spiritual healing. That's right. Trauma healing and spiritual growth with God's wisdom and truth, spiritual truth, as truth seekers that we are. And I just want to let everybody know that, hey, it is what it is. You know, what we're seeing inside that narcissistic abuse matrix is what's unfolding. You know, and it doesn't surprise us. It gets to that point where it's no longer going to surprise us anymore, because we're like, you know what? We've seen that before. Yeah. Okay. And I think we'll get it better. Yeah, no, we are. We'll all get a better understanding of why these sleepers continue to believe. Okay. That repetition of all the lies, right? Over time, what happened? That's right. Just like what the narcissistic abuser does for themselves, is they recite and tell themselves that lie over and over and over again until they believe it before they speak it, because that way it'll come out more smoothly. Like God says, it'll come out as smooth as butter, smooth as oil. Right? It comes out, and so it's so believable, right? Because they've convinced themselves of that first, so that when they say it, it sounds pretty convincing. And it's oh my goodness, the enemy loves his truth mixed with lies. Oh my goodness. Yes, he does. Oh, God tells us all about that too. And that also violates James 3:10 as well, you all. Truth mixed with lies. That's right. Well, God tells us that a blessing and a curse out of the same mouth ought not to be. So the enemy knows this. And that's why we catch on to this stuff. Spiritual warriors for Christ. That's what we do. Because we're like, okay, yep, once God chose us out of that narcissistic abuse matrix, push us into our purpose. And I know the enemy's trying to, he's trying to appear, as though he's trying to, better way to put it, he's trying to make it look as though things are stagnant. Don't fall for that. Right? You're making progress regardless. God is always out there making a way. He's always out there working things out in our favor. We know this, right? So while we're watching things that are going on inside that narcissistic abuse matrix, the upside down world, we really do start to learn, you know, how backward, twisted, and upside down, and chaotic, and dramatic everything is inside the narcissistic abuse matrix. It is. It's all for dramatization. That's all to feed the sleeper adrenaline addiction. I can stress the importance of that enough. Okay, you all, they are very much, because they're stunted toddler-wise, right? So they're addicted to that adrenaline. They won't let it go. And they don't even really fully understand it themselves. Yeah, okay, listen, y'all are not alone. I cut them off at the soul level. But they clearly demonstrate that they don't understand that where's to put that childish thing away. Right? We're no longer like impressed by it. Many of us, chosen one, spiritual warriors for Christ. When God gets us into His reality, we start putting away those childish things as we're supposed to. That's one of them. Is that liking of an adrenaline rush? We don't need it. We don't need it. We've got the Godhead. Right? We don't need that. So they don't understand it. You're supposed to put that away. As they have clearly demonstrated to me, they don't understand the truth about adrenaline. They don't understand that they are addicted to their own adrenaline, wanting to sit on the edge of their seat, because that adrenaline is what gets them pumped up and makes them feel as though they exist. It validates them, right? Yeah, that's what they're looking for. All things external for them, dependent on all things external, which is what the enemy wants. Think about that, because that's huge. The enemy needs people dependent on all things external, because by doing that, you're not being dependent on God within. Okay, the Godhead within. See how that works? That's the enemy. Does not want us to learn how to and be dependent on God only. Wants us dependent on all things external. And this is another reason why with CHA we're huge on breaking that dependency on external validation, because we don't need it. Nope, we got the Godhead. That's the only validation that we need. We're good. All right? Yeah, we don't need that external validation and to be dependent on all things external. Because another thing we come to realize is that being dependent on all things external. And now I'm not talking about the fact, yes, y'all, we can use the tool to do what God needs us to do. That's right. We get the tool, right? But we're not dependent like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have an unhealthy attachment to them, because we know that they're replaceable and that we will upgrade eventually. All right. We know that. Yeah, it is what it is. And so we don't have any unhealthy attachment. Once we break those trauma bonds, we don't have no more unhealthy attachments to people and things. No more unhealthy attachments to people and things. That's it, bottom line. No, we see what's going on. But that inside, okay, that bubble, that's where all, okay, of the evil is being dished out. Okay, yes, and projected outside the bubble, because we have to navigate through it, right, in the physical. And so because we have to do that, we are still going to be exposed to that same old over and over again. It's all about learning how to deal with it in a healthy and positive way, more God-like, Christ-like, that is. All right, there you go. To be more Christ-like about it. Not let them trick us into engaging in reactive abuse, not letting their guilt trips. Remember, again, their guilt trips are going to come from things they know they're unable to control, especially when it comes to salvation. Okay, they know that the enemy knows he had no control over that whatsoever, and he knows it. And so he'll use whoever he's got access to in our presence, yes, to try and dish out the guilt trips. Right, so just know that we cut it off. We're not going to internalize that. We don't let it. It's not going to work on chosen one. Okay, it's not going to work. In other words, yes, you got the armor of God. There you go. You got the armor of God on, and you are obeying God. You are picking up that cross and following Jesus. That's what we're doing here, and getting the truth, getting God's spiritual truth, seeking truths now, because we've been lied to since birth about a lot of things. Okay, that's why I talk a lot about those things on the Patreon channel. Okay, never forget that, because that's where I dive into the real world connection to the spiritual realm. I talk about RF. I talk about the manipulation, and they can only do that to an extent, you all. They can only do it to an extent. Just like this narcissistic abuse out here, it can only go so far before people say enough is enough, and we walk away in spirit, and then we're at necessary, we walk away in physical too. All right, and just the way it is. And so we're like, okay, you know what, that's fine. They want to continue to do it. Let them take each other out, like we say often. All right, we'll leave them to their own devices. All right, stay all about our Heavenly Father's business. That's all we need to be doing, is to please God, not man. All right, seriously, I know. See, I'm not the only one out here speaking these truths, y'all. There's others out here speaking the truth. They may say them differently, but they mean the same thing. That's why I'm saying God knows that how we deliver his messages is going to resonate with different people, wherever they're at in the stages of the awakening and the healing and the spiritual growth, wherever they're at. Right? So what we start to understand that, okay, so we have to discern that, yes, there are things going on in the world, okay, that we go, oh, okay, that we can help with this. Okay, we can help them with this. For example, I now have the business and employer consultation, okay, virtual or visiting. Now, the visiting business and employer consultations are available for select areas, and you will find those selected areas in the product description and in the landing page of the collection description. Okay, I've got it highlighted. There's specific areas that the visiting ones are only available for. So if you are not in that area, or if you're wondering, okay, you can always reach out via email. Okay, our contact information is right on the homepage of the website at CDHRWDRMD.org. And you can always go down the bottom, there's that contact information. But there's only 7 locations at this time that the visiting business and employer consultation are available for it. That is always subject to change as well. So for anyone who is outside of those selected areas, we highly recommend, if you want to have one of those business and employer consultation, we highly recommend the virtual one. Okay, there's several different, okay, you got 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, and a month packages available for each business and employer consultation. All right, to help you understand. Because here's the thing. All right, there are businesses who have tried all the suggestions out there available to curtail, let's say, a troublesome, employee, toxic coworker, what have you. Okay, and they've tried everything and nothing has worked. And I'm here to tell you why. Okay, it's just like you'll read in the description, because worldly solutions will not work on a spiritual dilemma. All right, that's it, bottom line. And also to get better organized. You've tried everything under the sun. So now and it's not working out for you. So maybe you're looking for something new. And that consultation is just an extension of the 5P coaching course, where I walk you through each and every step to help you find what works for you. Okay, there you go. That's how we work. All right, so for any of those, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out about those as well. And then we still have those individual, virtual, or by phone sessions for trauma healing. And I mean, everything we do is centered around trauma healing. Okay, that's it. Trauma healing and spiritual growth to help y'all. Okay, got the healing and helping component. That's right. Okay, everyone. So as always, that's it. We do not want y'all to have whatever questions you might have about what's going on out there, things like that, and you're trying to make sense of it, and you need some help. Yes, never hesitate to reach out. Right? That's what we're here for, because we understand it takes a while. Oh yeah, and we understand that it feels very, very lonely for quite some time, and that's all right, because we're not spiritually alone. We're out here. You're not alone. All right, you all fellow warriors. I know we're scattered, and I know that, but God is bringing us together. All right, God is bringing us together. Those of us who are awake, aware, and getting more aware, heightened awareness. All right, we're getting that heightened awareness to what's really going on. Right, and that upside down, fallen Babylonian narcissistic abuse matrix, what's really going on. And I'm telling you, some of it's rather intriguing, but a lot of it's not surprising. It's because it's nothing new. And I was like, we all sit there and wonder, like, how do the narc talking heads sleep at night? If anybody can answer that, that'd be great, because it's like, it's just really amazing, because I'm like, they got to know. They got to know to some extent that they're just delivering a bunch of lies. They got to know. They got to. There's got to be those who know exactly what they're doing. Because just like you narcissistic abusers, when they know that they're dishing out abuse, that's still not jiving that all of them don't know. There's some that do know. They got to know. So, yeah, they do. They know what's up. And now we do too. All right, and we're learning every single day together. Iron sharpening iron, fellow spiritual warriors for Christ. That's it. Right, iron sharpening iron. That's what it's all about in this community, as we learn as we grow and grow as we learn. There you go. All right, everybody. As always, again, don't hesitate to reach out with your questions. I will get to those as soon as possible. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Truth Seeker podcast, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.